Hello, I'm going to give you an introduction to the Sirius Astrology software. I'm making this in April of 2015. We have had a tutorial video on the Sirius Astrology software for a few years. I think it's outdated, so I'm making this new one to be more current, more relevant, give you better information. And what I'm going to do here is do this in 4 parts. First, I'll show you the data entry screen, because that's often where we start. We enter somebody's data is the first thing we're going to do. So I'll show you that, and I'm just going to show you the basics. This is just an introduction for about a half hour. As you probably know, the Sirius software is amazingly comprehensive, so I'm just going to give you the basic idea of what the program looks like and how it works. Most of what I'll do today is the layout of the program and how you select things. I'll also show you just a few features so you have some idea. We have specific tutorial videos on lots of different features, also specific features in the data entry screen, etc. So this is just a quick overview, and then a quick closing comment about the company. Okay, let's start with the data entry screen. Okay, here's what the opening screen of Sirius looks like, and really all you want to do here is click on Start. And there you have 2 choices. Suppose you were using the Sirius software yesterday. You quit the program, you turn off your computer, you come back today, and you want to pick up right with where you left off. Then you select Continue with Charts of Previous Session, and it's just as if you never left the program, you're picking up right where you were. Okay, but we're going to select New List of Charts to start fresh. And we're in the data entry screen. So this is really simple. It's just asking for a name, date, time, and place. And let's enter the chart of a new person. Let's say the person's name is Barbara Johnson. Now, first thing I'm going to recommend is last comma first, because there'll be a lot more Barbaras probably than Johnsons. And also, there's charts of famous people, and they are saved in this last comma first format. So I'll type in Johnson, and you see that as I type, it's showing me the data in the database. There's over 89,000 charts in the database. And I'll put comma, Barbara, and it tells me there is no Barbara Johnson in there. And now I type in her date. Right now I have this set to American style. In the settings you can set it to European style. So let's say she's born on American style, meaning month, day, year, instead of year, month, day. And let's say she's born June 1st, 1980. And we go to the time field, and since this is American style, we'll do it as 11:30, say, p.m. If we were in European style, we might be typing, say, 23:30. Okay, and then the place. And just as with the name, you don't have to go hunting around, just type in the place. Let's say she's born in London, England. We'll type London, if I could type properly, there we go. And you'll start seeing, as you type, you'll notice the same thing that happened when we were typing the name. We get to LON, it shows every place that begins with LON. D, everything that begins with LOND. That's exactly how the names work as well. And if you have trouble finding the place, you could go over here on the right and select England. And now I see just the places in England, and there's London, England. I'll click on it, and I've read in London, England. And don't touch the latitude and longitude, time zone, DST. Those are filled in for you. And basically we're done. If we want to assign a gender, we can put female here. We can assign a category to the chart. Let's go ahead. Let's say she's a student in a class. I'll click on this, and I'll click on select a category. Actually, this probably ran right off your screen, but there's an option here to select a category for this chart. And now I select a category, and I've got my data or famous data. And let's say I have had students here. I've already got a category where I've renamed it to Students 2015. I could assign her to that category. Just by doing that, you can rename these categories, or suppose she was a client, I could put her here, and I could rename this to Clients, CLIENTS, and rename that category. So these are you can think of them as files, and you can assign somebody to a specific category. So I'll click OK, and now she's assigned as a client, and I can give her accuracy ratings, was from birth certificate, and I could type in notes as long as I want. That's the basic idea, just to enter the data. That's the data entry screen. Now, suppose I want to enter another chart. What do? You click on this button here, New Chart Data. It asks me, do I want to save Barbara Johnson? I save just about everybody I have a name for because it's handy to read them in later. So I'll say yes. Tells me she's saved. Now let's enter a second chart. Let's read somebody from the database. Let's say we want to read in a famous person. I'll pick anybody. Save former President Bill Clinton. What do? How do you read it in? You should know. It's very simple. Just type in the name. You don't have to really do anything. And type in the last name. So you've got the idea. Just type in the name you want. And there he is, Bill Clinton. I can click on him. And I have him. Now let me just show you one more thing. Let's enter another chart. I'll click on New Chart Data. What if you don't know exactly the name of the person you want to read in? Suppose you want to just know which guitarists are in the database, or piano players, or actors. Well, then what you can do is, in this upper right corner is the file you want to read. What file are you reading in? So I'll click on this. I'll select this option to select a category. And now I can pick which category I want to read in. One of the My categories, My Data, or one of the famous people. Let's select musicians. And then I have a pop-up menu, and I can select all musicians or just guitarists. Click OK, and now it's going to list only guitarists. So let's see if Jimmy Garcia is in the database. He is. I type Garcia. There he is. I'll click on his name. It reads in, happens to have AA accuracy. Here's a link to the Astro Databank data online. We have a separate video all about that. I'm just going to give you the basic ideas, and I'll show you another thing. Let's click on New Chart Data to enter in another chart. Is the get group of charts is very handy because now you can browse through all the guitarists. You can also show only certain accuracy ratings, say AA accuracy only. I've just clicked on this button and selected AA accuracy, and now I've got all the guitarists with accurate data. I can click on Jimi Hendrix. I could click on anybody else, say Les Paul, whoever I want, Buck Owens, pick these different guitarists. I can also search only for people born during a certain time period, and I click OK, and it's added those charts. So I'm going very quickly, but I'm giving you the basic idea of the data entry screen. The basic idea is very simple. Just enter the name. That's it. Just enter the name. If the person's not in the database, you won't see the name. Just fill in everything. If you see it, you can click on the name and read it in. And I've shown you how you can assign categories to the charts, and you can read in certain categories. You can also select lunations and ingresses right here. I'm not going to show you every little feature. You can save the entries you have, read them back. I just want to give you the basic idea. This is the data entry screen, so you're familiar with it. You have an idea of what the Sirius program looks like. You have an idea of what it works. It's simple. You just type in the data, and there's lots of charts available for you, and you can pick out which ones you want or which groups of people you want very easily. So I just want to give you the basic feeling for the program. That's all we want to do in this tutorial video. So that's the data entry screen. When you're done, you click on the Done button, and now you're in the main window of the program. Okay, so now this is the main thing I want to show you is what the Sirius software looks like. Okay, that's what it looks like. This is where you do everything. Okay, so what's going on here? You've got my chart wheel for Buck Owens, which was one of the 6 charts. Remember, we read in a bunch of charts. And here are the other ones we read in. So you've got the basic idea that, remember, we read in Bill Clinton. If I want to look at his chart wheel, I can click on it. So you've got your list of people that you've entered in the upper right corner. If I want to go to Les Paul, click on that, and there's Les Paul. Okay, very good. Now, what else do we want to do? we are going to want to create things like progressions and returns and get midpoints and all different chart wheel styles, etc. So here's the basic layout. The blue icons is where you create new charts. Like this was where we go into the data entry screen with new. Here's where you create a progressed chart, any kind of return chart, relocated charts, composite charts, harmonic charts. This is where you create charts, and the green is where you select what information, chart wheels or midpoints or listings that you want. And then the purple are settings, and yellow is for producing the output that you want. So that's your basic 4 items. Let me give you an idea. First, let me go back to my PowerPoint and make sure I went over all this. Okay, did all that. That's our data entry screen. Okay, and here's the information about our layout. I've told you you've got blue, green, yellow, and purple icons. And let me follow my notes here. Let's progress a chart. Let's find out how you progress a chart. And then we're going to select midpoints of the progress chart. And then we'll do a bi-wheel of one person's progress chart and somebody else's natal. And then we'll do a harmonic chart of a composite chart. Okay? Well, let's go ahead and do this. Okay, first of all, how do I progress this chart? Let's take, it doesn't matter. Let's take Bill Clinton. How would I progress this chart? Well, a progression is a new chart. It's going to have new birth data to it. So I go to this icon that says progression, and I get these different kinds of progressions that I can do. And I have all kinds of choices for how I want to progress the houses and if I want to relocate it. And I can select secondary. Let me check secondary and solar arc, for example. So I'll do those 2 progressions with the default settings and click OK. Now, what did Sirius do? Well, first of all, it gave me the progress chart and it added it to the list. So that's how Sirius works. Every time you select a chart, it adds it to the list. It has our first 6 charts are those natal charts we read in. Chart number 7 is the secondary progressed, which is done for today. I happen to be doing this on April 20th, 2015. Here's the solar arc direction. So you have them as separate entries. If I want to go back to the progressed, I just click on it. Okay, next thing I want to do. How would I select midpoints of the progressed chart? Very simple. Just look at the progressed chart and go to your green icons. That's where you select the information you want. And here are midpoints. I can just select the midpoints, or I could see what settings I have. I'll just select them. And there we go. We have midpoint structures with the default settings of the progress chart. Now, how do I get back to the wheel? Now I want to get back to the natal chart wheel. That's in the lower right corner. In the lower right corner, everything you're doing is remembered. So I'm on Bill Clinton's progressed. I want to get back to the wheel. I click on the wheel. So this is really cool because what you have here is all the charts you've selected are in the upper right corner. Natal charts, progress charts, composite charts, anything you've selected, just click on it to get back to it. And in the lower right is like a memory, a list of everything you've done. So if I go to Bill Clinton's natal, it only shows me a wheel because that's all I've done for his natal chart. When I go to his secondary progressed, it shows me wheel and midpoints because that's what I selected. It's remembering everything you did so you can get back to it with just a few clicks. Very nicely and simply organized for you to be able to do whatever you want to do. Okay, next thing on our list. Now we've seen how to select midpoints of a progress chart. You just go to the progress chart and select midpoints. Now, how would you do a bi-wheel of, say, Bill Clinton's progress chart and someone else's natal? Okay, so I want to put Bill Clinton's progress chart on the outside of a bi-wheel. And just to make this a little different, a little wild, you might say, I'm going to put somebody else. Let's put Buck Owens' natal in the middle. How would I do it? Buck Owens in the middle, Bill Clinton on the outside. Well, all you do is you just view either chart, doesn't matter which one you you're looking at. I can look at either Bill Clinton's progressed or Buck Owens' natal, either one, and select biwheel. That's all there is to it. Just select the biwheel while you're looking at one of those charts. So I'm looking at the progressed chart, and I'm going to select biwheel. Where's biwheel? Well, biwheel is a report. It's not creating new information, so it's going to be one of the green things. And I can put my arrow on here. Here's wheel, here's multi-wheel, biwheel, etc. So that's all there is to it. Just look at the chart you want and select the information, whether it's a wheel or midpoints or a listing or an interpretation or a forecast, an astromap, a Vedic, whatever it is you want, just select it while you're looking at that chart. That's all there is to it. So I'll select biwheel. And so here's my choices. Here are the animated wheels, by the way, which are fantastic. We have separate videos on that. I'm not going to have time to show you all these things, but these are awesome. But anyway, we just want a biwheel. Get back to my topic here. I want a biwheel. And then it asks me which chart I want in the center. I said I want, did I say Buck Owens, I think is what I wanted. I said I wanted. And I want Bill Clinton's progressed on the outer ring. Now, by the way, if I have to have Bill Clinton's progressed as one of the charts because that's the chart I'm on. In other words, if I try to get away from Bill Clinton and I go to Jimi Hendrix, it's going to put Bill Clinton over here because he has to be one of my charts because I'm selecting my biwheel for Bill Clinton. Okay, so I'm going to put Buck Owens in the middle, Bill Clinton progressed on the outside, click OK, and then it asks me some things about different wheel styles that I might want, and suppose, I like that wheel style, I can click on Customize if I want to customize it, I click OK, and there it is. So now we see how we've selected a biwheel, inner ring Buck Owens, outer ring Bill Clinton, secondary progressed, and more specifically, it's a secondary progressed. There's different methods of progressing houses, and it gives me all that detail and the date it's progressed for. There we go. Okay, so I'm showing you the basic layout of the program and how you select things. Let's review. Here's the Sirius software. How does it work? Blue icons create wheels. Green icons select the information you want of the chart you're looking at, and the purple will be for your settings, help, different things like that, and yellow is for saving, outputting the information, save to file, print it, or email it. This is a resizing thing, but basically that's for output. That's all. That's really all there is to it. Very, very, very simple. Okay, let's do one more thing. Something that sounds very complicated, but even with this beginning introduction, you can figure out how to do it. Let's do a harmonic chart of a composite chart. Well, to do that, first we need to do a composite chart. Let's do a composite chart of, say, two of the guitarists. Say Jerry Garcia and Jimi Hendrix. They're both, rock-style guitarists. And let's do a composite chart of them. And then, what did I say I'm going to do? I'm going to do a harmonic chart of the composite. So first we do a composite. How do you do it? How do you do the composite chart? Well, first select one of them, either one. So doesn't matter which one, let's do Jerry Garcia. So first, bring up his chart. There it is. Now select composite. Where is it going to be? It's going to be a new chart. It's there. So you just select composite. That's all there is to it. Just bring up the chart you want and select what you want. We'll do a composite of two charts, a normal composite. It's showing me the different people. I select Jimi Hendrix. There's some different options for kind of composite we want. I click OK, and there it is. Now I've got the composite chart. It's that simple. Now, last thing about how you select things in Sirius software. How would I get a harmonic chart of this chart? You can do it. You can do a harmonic chart of a composite chart. Just select it. There's no magic to it. Just select it. Here's harmonic charts. Harmonic chart's a new chart. So you select harmonic chart. Got some different kinds of harmonic charts. And it tells me I'm selecting a harmonic chart of a chart that's not a natal chart because it's a little bit strange. Are you sure you want to do this? Yes, I do. And actually I could do a number of harmonic charts all at once. I'll do 5, 7, 9. That will give me 3 harmonic charts of the composite chart. So it's that simple. And it explains it. I'm doing a 5th harmonic chart, a 5th harmonic composite chart, this is the type of composite chart, of the 2 natal charts, Jerry Garcia and Jimi Hendrix. And there it is. And how do you get back to your other charts? Just click on them. So if I want to get back to Jerry Garcia's natal chart, just click on it and I'm back to his natal chart. That's it. You have really the whole idea of the program at this point. You have the blue icons to create new charts, the green icons to select the information you want. And you can select the information of any kind of chart. Let's say I'm looking at the solar arc direction. I could do an astromap. I could do anything I want of the solar arc directed chart. You can select any report for any kind of chart. So if I'm looking at a composite chart, maybe as a better example, here's the composite, and I want to look at, suppose I want an interpretation of the composite chart. I can click on the interpretation. It's going to be one of the green icons. Information. I can select interpretation, natal. We have different reports here. I could select the English version of the Cosmo report with pictures. And I click OK. Now this report, Cosmo Natal, was written for birth charts. It was not written with the idea of composite charts in mind, but I can still select it. I can select this report for any chart, and it tells me that it's the Jerry Garcia, Jimi Hendrix chart, that combination, the composite chart. And it gives me the interpretation. There are the pictures. And in the composite chart, Sun is in Libra, etc. And Mercury's in Libra, and so on. And there's the interpretation. And this is in a separate window for interpretations, and I can close that. So, the point I'm making is that you have your list of charts in the upper right corner, any chart you want to look at that you've selected. You can just go back to it and you can select any report of any chart. You can select a composite of any 2 charts, whatever you want to do. Very, very, very simple. Okay. I could show you the interactive multi-wheels. I don't know if I have much time for this. We're already at 22 minutes. We have a separate video on that. But just to mention, the interactive multi-wheels is, we have natal, progressed, and transit, and you move it forward and backward. I have a whole separate tutorial video on that. I've explained what the upper right corner and upper and lower right corner are, right? I have these 2 things, the chart you're looking at and the report you selected of each chart. Oh yeah, now this is important. How would I customize this wheel? That's one of the first things that comes up. What if you don't like this chart wheel? You want to see what options there are. The fast way to select things in the Sirius software is to right-click. You can always right-click. Now, I could go up here to Wheel and click on this, select Wheel to Display, but that's 2 clicks, right? I would go up here, Wheel, select Wheel to Display. It's much faster. You can do that to just right-click. You right-click and it brings up your settings. And this is really, really wonderful. It's interactive. So I can look at my different wheel styles that I have and just see them as I click on them. There's the standard wheels, special wheels. Here are medieval wheels. All kinds of different selections. You have art wheels. Different things you can select. Let's say I'm looking at this medieval wheel and I want to change something. How would you do it? How would you do it? All you do is look for something in your customizing. You'll see that for each wheel, for medieval wheel 2, there are 5 variations of it. Here's one with the zodiac signs around the outside, or maybe you like the houses equally spaced. So just look at what's available. And usually you'll see a button like Customize. And then that opens up another little window so that you can actually see your screen. And suppose you don't want Chiron in this wheel. Where is it? Here it is. Chiron up here, 23 wheel. We don't want it just, it's all interactive. So you can just select whatever you want. You can go into the asteroids and select any asteroid. Sirius 2.0 has this feature where you can select any asteroid. It'll go online and download the ephemeris file for it and read it in. We have a whole tutorial video on that. But the basic point I want to make here is that when you want to change something, you're looking at a chart wheel, you want to change it. What do? Typically right click. Let me show you that with the midpoints. Let's say I select the midpoints. And I say, gee, I want to change this, or I want to just know what options I have. What do? Fast thing to do, I right click with my mouse, and now I can see my settings. I can, whether I want squares, whether I want semi-squares, whether I want these objects, I can click on an advanced settings, and it opens up more windows. So always you have levels of customizing. Let me show you this with a wheel. For example, how would I customize this wheel? Right click. Look at what your options are. I have different wheel styles. Find the closest thing to what you want. Click on Customize. What will Customize do for me? Basically just look. Take your time and just look. Here are the planets I can select, whether there are aspect lines. Here are the aspects I can select. I can change the fonts. Here's some other settings, for changing colors and so on. And then if you just keep looking at what's available, you'll notice Page Designer. And one of the things about the Sirius software is sometimes there's an entire world of information hidden behind a button. So just because it's a little button doesn't mean it's not important. Anyway, this takes you into the Page Designer. And then with the Page Designer, you can right-click. I think that went off my captured area. You can right-click on something like the wheel, and select all these things you can customize there. We have a whole tutorial videos on that. I'm not going to go into any more detail. You can watch the special tutorial videos on customizing wheel styles. I have videos just on that. But what I'm trying to show you here in this tutorial video is the concept of how the program works. How does it work? Let's review. Let's review a few basic ideas. Blue icons to create charts, green to select the reports you want, purple will be for different kinds of customizing, and yellow for printing, saving to file, or emailing. And basically that's it. And you've got what chart you've selected in the upper right corner and what reports you've selected for each chart in the lower right corner. Okay. All right. So right click and look at your settings, use common sense, and you'll see all the different things you can do. Now, examples of features, well, this could go on forever and ever and ever. Boy, maybe I'll just click on a few of these just to give you some idea. But suppose you want astromaps. Well, then you click on Maps, you open up astromaps, and there are all these kinds of treasure maps and blue shaded orbs and local space and geodetic and fixed star maps. People are often surprised that one program can have more features than specialized programs that you might buy from other companies. So just because it's one program doesn't mean that the features are limited when you go into a specialized area such as astromaps. Well, let's just do here for the United States. I don't even know what chart I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at a composite chart, but I can select anything for anything. I'll just select this. I'll select a vocation and career for the United States. Click OK, and I'm actually doing an astro map of a composite chart. And Sirius will do its best to try to do that in a way that makes sense. Some things are actually astronomically a little bit difficult to make sense out of, but it'll try to make sense out of it and produce the report for you. And I can resize this. I notice this window's a little bit small. I probably had it in a reduced size for some reason. And you just look, you have these different buttons for saving to file, resizing, and so on, or printing your astromap. I'll increase the size one more time just to give you an idea. Okay, well, there are endless numbers of features. I'll just show you a few more. I'll close this astromap window. In the forecasting, A lot of people prefer the timeline format. It's a visual format. We have entire tutorial videos on this. The Astro Signature is a wonderful feature where you get graphs of what's going on. And here we'll see a graph where we're predicting, let me drag this over into the middle a little bit, a graph that shows you the business success for somebody. And over here, it goes off my captured area, but in the actual program you'll see all this on your screen are the details. We have entire tutorial videos on this. I'm not going to go into detail here, but this ability to have graphs is a really wonderful feature. Oh, what else did I mention I might want to show you? If you go into the Hellenistic features under forecasting, you have an astro calendar, which is beautiful. You have, for example, Hellenistic features, circumambulations. It just so many features. And again, you can right-click, change the settings, change what kind of Hellenistic Time Lord you want, what different settings, all very simple. Right-click, your settings are right there. The Vedic features are amazing. Let me close this window. And this also is important to show you for another reason, you'll see in a second. If I go to Vedic and select all these different Vedic things, we recently added the Krishnamurti Padati system, which is really wonderful. A lot of specialized things, the marriage matching, etc., Panchanga, Muhurta, Ashtaka Varga, all these advanced Vedic features. Here's the basic Vedic window where you see your Vedic charts. And here is the chart for the person who entered, Barbara Johnson. And so there it is. This is your Vedic window, and you can resize these things. Again, you can right-click, and there are all these different kinds of information you can include in this window in the lower right corner. The Shadbala table, the graphs, the Upagrahas, the Baba Ruta, special lagnas, Varshapal information, etc. So the Vedic features, extremely extensive and powerful. Really, we've covered just about every area of astrology in considerable detail. So this is just to give you an idea of the comprehensiveness of Sirius. So what we have here is extremely elegant software. It's extremely elegant because it's of the interactive nature. Like I showed you, when you right-click on the wheel, you go into the customize, you could just play around with it. Oh, where's Chiron? Pop it in the wheel. There it is. Or you could pop Eris into the wheel, or Varuna, or any asteroid at all, and just see where it is, and then you just interactive, very elegant, beautifully laid out, and extraordinarily comprehensive. So that you can explore almost any area of astrology. And then, of course, we have these tutorial videos, so you can continue to grow and explore new ideas in astrology. And it's all presented in a way within the Sirius software to show you how this stuff works. Okay, now, back to my tutorial video. I think I've covered everything. Last thing. Very last thing, and then I'll just mention something about the company. Here's a question for you. You won't know the answer to it probably, because I haven't explained it yet. But let's say you wanted to change the chart to heliocentric. Let's go back to Barbara Johnson. And I want to change this chart to heliocentric. How would you do it? Well, this may not be obvious, but it's under settings. So it's a setting of this chart. And under settings is where you select tropical or sidereal, your house system. Also, it's where you can set your default for future settings. You notice that with the zodiac also. Change the default. So you can make your setting for this chart, also change your default. This is what we call rotating houses. And here's coordinate system. And there are all these different coordinate systems, heliocentric and local space and mundoscopes and Toby's secondaries and Anticia charts and all these different kinds of charts. So if I wanted heliocentric, I just select heliocentric. It asks me some questions. Typically with the heliocentric wheel, we often remove house cusp lines because there really aren't houses in a heliocentric chart. Um, and there you have it. And now, what's nice to know about this is not only is the wheel heliocentric, the chart is heliocentric. That means if I select midpoints or a listing, the midpoints are heliocentric. And notice it put the Earth symbol, not the Sun. So this is really wonderful that when you change to a different coordinate system, you change to heliocentric, you basically can do everything heliocentric. Not just look at the wheel. So you've changed the setting of the entire chart and everything you select to heliocentric. Okay, so that's it. I just wanted to give you an overview of the program. I hope that gives you a good sense of what the software is like. Again, it's this interactive nature and the flexibility, such as this last thing I showed you, where you're setting the whole chart to heliocentric and you can select anything you want and it becomes heliocentric, including interpretation and so on. Very flexible, very easy to use, and if you're only using the basics, all these advanced features won't get in your way. So if you're going to forecast, look at all these forecast things, the Ferdaria, and the primary directions, and the Van Dam primary directions, all kinds of things. But if you don't use these things or haven't gotten to them yet, that's fine. They're not going to get in your way. They're just menu items that are there. So we've gone to a lot of effort to make it so that whether you're at a beginning level, intermediate, or advanced, you have a resource not only for the techniques that you currently use, but to explore things. Another example of exploring things, when you go to listings, take, for example, the degree meanings listings, where I can go in here and say that I want degree meanings according to 11 authors. Well, let me hold on a second. Let me set this back to geocentric, just so we're looking at the normal chart. We don't confuse ourselves with the helio. Okay, here's our normal chart, and let's go to listings and select degree meanings, and then number 7 according to 11 authors. So there are these reference materials, like this one, where if you want to explore degree meanings, you have degree meanings according to 11 authors. We have a whole tutorial video just on degree meanings. And you have the Sabian symbol, the original from Mark Emmett Jones, the one according to Rudyard. These are degree meanings, and according to different authors, we have interpretations of fixed stars and asteroids, all these reference materials to explore ideas and get information. So it's not just calculations. It's not just a huge number of interpretations that are also included in many languages, English, French, German, Spanish, but also reference materials. So you don't have to go running to books to see what different authors might say about degree meanings. So we're moving in a lot of different directions with the Sirius software to provide tools, visual tools, graphs, listings, reference materials in every area of astrology so that you can explore, grow. If you have students and they ask you things that are not in your area of expertise, you can at least find that information, bring it up, look at it, and also we work with astrologers to fine-tune the reports and the information so that they are the best for the way you want to work. And it's a never-ending process. And that leads to our last item here. I'm almost done. Where's my last item? Is our last slide here is about the company Cosmic Pattern Software. We manage 2 companies, Cosmic Pattern Software and Matrix Software. We acquired Matrix Software 2 years ago. This is giving us a larger company, and the larger company is allowing us to get to our mission, to achieve our goal. What's our goal? It's rather large. We want to have everything in astrology that anybody ever wants at your fingertips. That will never happen because astrology never ends. People keep inventing new ideas faster than we can program them. But that's what we're trying to do. And by combining 2 companies together, we now have the assets of both companies combined together. It's allowing us to move forward with this mission faster. And we're all about teamwork. So many of our users are making the software possible. They're taking the time to explain to us, to show us. to teach us, to guide us, and the methods that they use. That each astrologer is like an artist, has his or own way of doing things. We listen to you. We support you. So as I said, astrology is almost endless. We can't do everything. We're trying to make smart decisions about the most important thing to do. We can't do it all. Astrology never ends. Technology never ends. So we're doing things to meet your needs, to be creative, for us to program creative, for you to work in a creative way, for all of us to work together to do something positive in the world where everyone has something to contribute, whether it's an astrological idea, a technical insight, graphic talent, ability, translators. So many of our users have translated and made those translations available to you at a cost that is affordable. We couldn't afford to pay translator prices to have all these translations. But you, our customers, are working with us to make all this possible. So we want to make a difference. Life is short, and we're having a great time all working together to make this possible. Okay, my friends, I am at 41 minutes. It's a very long tutorial video. Thank you for listening. God bless. Namaste.